That is the final whistle at the London Olympic Stadium. It has finished West Ham United 3, Arsenal 3. West Ham were in dreamland after half an hour. 3 goals to the good. And it looked like a certain 3 points were coming back to East London. But that's not how it turned out in the end. The Arsenal coming back, grabbing one before the break and scoring twice in the second half to secure a point that they certainly wouldn't have expected to get at the 30-minute mark. Jesse Lingard opening the scoring after 15 minutes for West Ham with a wonderful effort from the edge of the box, curling one with the outside of the boot into the top corner of the net. And less than just over a minute and a half later, Jared Bowen doubling West Ham's advantage after Jesse Lingard showed a clever touch by taking a free kick early, passing it to Bowen, who beat Lino at his near post. It was 3-0 after 32 minutes when Souček registered to send Hammers into territory previously uncharted since 2007, 3 goals inside the opening 32 minutes of a game. But Souček was on target again on 38 minutes, unfortunately, at the other end when he got the final touch on a Lacazette shot that was going wide to deflect it inside the far post to send West Ham into the break 3-1 up. Lacazette lobbed Fabianski in the first minute of the second half. Let's not forget the ball was going in before Issa Diop performed miracles to hook it off the line to ensure West Ham kept a 2-goal advantage. David Moyes didn't react, and Arsenal scored a second goal on the 61st minute. It was a Dawson own goal, the 5th goal scored in the game, and the 5th goal scored by a West Ham player. Dawson converting a low cross while trying to hook it over the bar, one would imagine. David Moyes did eventually react, bringing on Mark Noble for Jared Bowen, bringing on Fredericks for Ben Rama, who, once again, not doing a lot of defensive work, perhaps when it was needed. Moyes looking to shore up that defence. It was too little too late, because with 8 minutes of normal time to go, Lacazette headed home a deep cross from the left to save Arsenal a point that, at one point they never really looked like getting. Pinky said it there. For West Ham, it feels like 2 points dropped. It really is. And the Hammers stay. If it's still 3 points ahead of Liverpool and 3 points ahead of Everton, who are 6th and 7th. But no, it's got to be 2 points dropped, that, hasn't it?
Yeah, I said at the part of the way through the first half, I think, I didn't want to see this game go the same way as the Leeds game, where we sat back and thought we'd done enough. That's exactly what happened. I said that not everybody would be as profligate as Leeds. Arsenal deserved the point because they came and went at us and did what we didn't. And very disappointing though to see us do that. You'd have thought a lesson would have been learned after the Leeds game. Clearly not. What can I say? It was, we didn't deserve anything more than we got out of the game. Simple as that. Pinky, I'm not making an excuse. I've moaned about the refereeing and it was poor, but if they hadn't scored from those, they'd have probably scored from something else because we didn't play well enough. It's simple as that.
Okay, good stuff. Wimbledon, 1998. West Bromwich Albion, 2003. West Brom again in 2011. Tottenham earlier this season. West Ham twice led 3-0 and twice trailed 3-0. It doesn't happen often, but it's happened again this afternoon for a 5th time in 23 years, Rio. The Hammers 3-0 up, throwing it away to draw 3-3 this afternoon.
Yeah, to be honest, we've only got ourselves to blame. I hate to say this. I mean, my dislike of the opposition today is well publicised. We played the opening half an hour like Brazil was circa 1982. Sadly, the remaining 60 minutes or so was like Adam Brazil 2022. It was absolutely shocking. Not helped by the officiating, but we did everything completely wrong. We forgot the basics of defending. A manager who's been absolutely exemplary this season with the tools at his disposal
Yep.
Let himself big time today because the areas of concern were quite clear from the offset. As soon as Arsenal got a foot in the game, our left-hand side was exposed massively, and they attacked at will down the outside. Aaron Creswell, who was getting absolute pelters on the forum, was left cast adrift, though. You know, I mean, he didn't have the greatest game. I mean, I thought he had a great opening half an hour. But after that, he had no support from the man in front of him, no support from any of the midfield. At one stage, we had Mikel Antonio playing left back, right, in an attempt to kind of quell the attack after attack after attack from Arsenal down the outside. It was too little too late. The seeds have been sown, the momentum have been switched, and, you know, we had a good laugh earlier in the season when we did it at Tottenham, 3-3. And I'd like to point out that when we go to the amateur awards, it's not being the West Ham player who wins that. It's going to be yourself and my other two fellow moderators, because we've been so magnanimous in what isn't a defeat but feels like one. You know, we've not overreacted. We've all been quite reasonable. We've all been incredibly diplomatic in our response today. You know, we can see the deficiencies in our side, the deficiencies in this performance. You know, I hate to say it, but all you Tottenham YouTube channels, this is how you react when you lose a 3-goal lead and you end up drawing 3-3. You don't start slamming things down. You don't start swearing at will. You know, you don't start reacting in the manner that you do. This is how to react. With a bit of dignity, a little bit of humour, a bit of realism. Learn from it, please.
Arthur Masuaku has been posting on Twitter a few minutes before Arsenal's third goal. He posted to say, "I'm going to turn off the TV," smiley face. And about 2 minutes ago, he's just posted another one to say, maybe I should have done. So good to see the players can still laugh. I suppose the players who are going to be coming back to take the place of those who are playing today, probably. Pinky, a couple of people have pointed out on social media and on the forum following the final whistle that West Ham looked fatigued today. It looked like a step too far for a very, very small squad that's been pushed all the way and been forced to play because there haven't been just simply not enough able replacements on the bench. Do you have some sympathy with that viewpoint, or are you more critical of the way David Moyes handled the second half? Or I suppose you can be critical of both, really.
Yeah, I do have some sympathy with the viewpoint, because I think, you know, I said when we looked at the team lineup at the start, you know, and you attempt to goad me into a comment on Ben Rama even before we'd kicked off. Yeah, talk about looking for an easy headline. I mean, shame
is that.
but you know, I made the comment that, you know, basically, what other choice does the manager have? You know, I mean, Ben Rama's getting in the team, you know, because, well, you were next. You know, it's one of those. And I'm afraid we've paid a heavy price, you know, not just for Ben Rama today. I mean, I think he could have been working a lot harder defensively, but so could one or two others, in fairness.
Yeah.
You know, we saw a few examples, you know, Diop clearing a ball off the line. Yeah. You know, we could have lost that game today easily. And, you know, it's the sort of match that could have been a 6 or 7-all draw. But the difference in terms of what Arsenal could bring off the bench and what David Moyes could, it really is chalk and cheese. I mean, David Moyes is bringing on, you know, Dad's Army and 33-year-old Mark Noble, good loyal servant and all that. He's bringing on Ryan Fredericks, who, if we're to believe what, you know, sort of the press was saying, we were willing to trade in January if we've got any offers, that kind of thing. I mean, the squad really is bare bones. But having said that, the manager got it wrong today, because we were 3-0 up. We're winning the game. We've got the points in the bag. and he didn't do what he knew he had to do. Yeah, which was shore us up at the back, because there were warning signs there despite us being 3-0 up. And he didn't do it. And I suspect he didn't do it because he's looking at his team going, if I start hooking players now, I'm getting into the territory of they'll stop running for me, because you start hooking players at half time, they don't like it. These are professional footballers. And so the manager's caught there. He doesn't have too many options. Clearly he can see what's going on, because he's got the best part of 1,000 games as a manager under his belt. He's not a rookie. He knows what's going on there. But we've waited for the first Arsenal goal to go in, the second Arsenal goal to go in, then the third Arsenal goal. There's an inevitability about it, because we didn't make the changes early enough and didn't try to get the game's initiative back. Limited options off the bench, limited options to start with. I mean, he's playing players that there's a stat right at the start. Declan Rice, that's his 100th out of 101 West Ham games where he's started. And he's a young player that I suspect by the age of 27 will be burnt out, because he's playing every minute, every single week. I'm afraid, Mr. Sullivan, you gave all the money to Manu Pellegrini. You then had to tidy it all up again. And this is what you get. We were in 5th place. At 3-0 up, we're level with Chelsea. We're just goal difference separating us.
Mm-hmm.
We're putting the pressure on. We're keeping the pressure on. And the way that we've capitulated there, no one in that top 4 will fear West Ham coming past them now. No one at all. And what you've got, you'll have the Portuguese Pulis now saying to his players, do you know what, Tottenham Hotspur, we can catch that lot. Because look at them. We can, what we've done today is we've given Tottenham Hotspur some hope. That's what we've done today. At 3-0, never mind a bad result for Arsenal, it was a disastrous result for Tottenham. It was a poor result for Everton. At 3-3, Everton and Tottenham now looking at going, they're gone. Their legs have gone. Yeah, they're out of puff. And all the old gags about taking us down with the Christmas tree lights and all that usual crap we've got to put up with. Here you go. And it's because the squad just isn't big enough. It's that simple.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. One player missing today from the lineup was Pablo Fornals, instrumental in West Ham's success so far this season. No, we felt he was a massive miss at Old Trafford last week. Do you think that West Ham would have let that game go had Fornals been available this afternoon?
I think he would have played instead of Ben Rama, and he does bring a lot of hard work to play. So yeah, I think it was a big miss. We've got an international break now, haven't we? So hopefully it'll be a little bit fitter for a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, we need this international break, and message to Lingard and Rice is to stay out of trouble. But yeah, what Pinky said, we are bare bones. We had to pick Ben Rama today. I'm still not convinced he's a starter when everyone's fit. Didn't really bring much in today, I'm afraid.
And what about Moisey? Gnome, did he get it wrong today?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly partly responsible. I think we needed to change things around in the second half a lot earlier than we did. Ben Rama I'd have brought off fairly early on in the second half, and I'd have. I can see the thinking behind Noble, and but yeah, that was delayed too long, and I think if we'd shored things up earlier, would have made it a lot more difficult for Arsenal.
Yeah.
the the thing is, though, it's a situation that Moyes found himself in, that he'd been put in that position by the players.
Yeah.
3-0 up. And if we just carry on playing exactly the way that we had been playing, it would have been a case of, maybe we would have had more. And, no changes needed at 3-0 up, notwithstanding Pinky saying, right, we're 3-0 up, let's batten down the hatches.
Yeah.
We keep going, get another fourth, either late first half, early second. The question about having to shore things up doesn't arise, but so the players have got to actually put their hands up to this, because they went 3-0 up and it was, we're done there, we're done now, 3-0 up, and second half was, they were obviously going to come at us. So I think maybe changes might have been required at half time, but that Moyes was put in that position by the fact the players didn't continue to play as the way they've been playing. Yeah,
fair point. I mean, we should all, of course, perhaps point out that we also hit the post, didn't we, in the second half? The cross from Ben Rummer, which Antonio just couldn't wrap his foot around at 3-2. 78 minutes, 4 minutes later, Arsenal score. It's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
We could easily have nicked a fourth, and that would have killed the game off. But, we should not have been in that position.
Okay, good stuff. Pinky's nodding his head furiously at that one.
Yeah, I mean, our game management was dreadful. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying all this stuff of we hit the post, we could have got 4 and all the rest of it. Yeah. In the second half, Arsenal totally controlled the game. The fact that we had a couple of breakaways and could have got something, I would file that under good fortune rather than good intent. The simple fact is they've just showed a couple of the Arsenal goals again. Yeah. And we're making Chambers look like he's the world's greatest fullback. The fact that he's suddenly managed to get forward and put a couple of crosses in. There's not a West Ham United player within 15 yards of him for 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm just not accepting this. Well, we could have got 4 or 5 and all the rest of it. Yeah. How about recognising we've conceded 3 goals at home?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Pinky. The point was we went the 3 up and then we just sat back on it and put our feet up, and it was, well, we're done now, aren't we? And, we might be having a different conversation if Antonio was 3 inches taller, for example. But that would have, as you say, would have glossed over the fact that, we actually, as you say, the game management, 3-0 up, and you're actually sort of going, attacking wave after wave of attack, and we're looking like scoring, just about every time we get on the front foot at them. Let's keep going.
But here's the
first half. That's what I'm saying. The first half. The fact was, we sat back with quarter of an hour to go in the first half, put our feet up, and we didn't get that momentum back. That's got to be down to the players.
Yeah, and the manager's going to go into the chairman's office.
Yeah.
And say, look, the squad just isn't big enough. And the chairman's going to sit there, laugh his head off and go, you were 3-0 up after half an hour. You would put yourself in a winning position. The team would put themselves in a winning position, and you failed to take all 3 points. That's a catastrophic second half by West Ham in terms of game management. And I'm sorry, even if you haven't got the personnel to make changes in players, change the shape, change the system, do something.
Yeah.
But when you've got Chambers looking like, I don't know, Cafu or whoever, all of a sudden, it's please stop it now. Just stop it. And I don't care if that's getting a little old granny out the stands and putting it in. Just stand there, love. Just stand there and mark some space. Fill some space. But have someone within 15 yards of Chambers when he's putting cross after cross into our box. Because, you stop the cross, you stop the goal. It's that simple. These are the basics of football. And, we could all see it. We're sitting here chatting about it, you know, 4 middle-aged blokes sitting here going, got a lot of space down that flank, you know.
Yeah,
a lot of space, and we pay the price, and I'm not too happy.
no.
Are you waving "shut up, Pinky," or was that you waving goodbye, Rio?
No, I'm taking the offence to the middle age bit.
Fair dues.
Whereas I'm being flattered by it. So
Rio, let's come to you on that one, young man. David Moyes, you know, he was criticised hugely after the defeat at Old Trafford last week. I suspect when we have a look at the forums very shortly, he's going to be getting an absolute coating once again this afternoon. What do you make of it this afternoon? You know, Pinky and Gnome have just said it there. We were saying from half time, you know, we've got to make changes soon because the left side is so heavily exposed. You know, everything that was coming down that side didn't happen. The goals came. It was all so predictable. Moyes at fault here?
Yeah, I think he is. As we've all pointed out, we can see it from here that our left-hand side had absolutely no protection whatsoever. One of our four members pointed out that we've made Callum Chambers look like Danny Alves today. Whereas I think we've defended like Daniel LaRue at times as well, because I keep harking back to it. All the basics we did completely wrong. And despite the lack of options that we've got available to us, the manager and his coaching staff have really got to address that. They've got to witness that from the side. They've got to see what we're seeing and take action, you know. I'm not one normally for making changes. When you're in the ascendancy and we've played as well as we did for that first 30, 35 minutes, making more defensive substitutions can be seen as a negative.
Yeah.
I know hindsight's a marvellous thing, but had we done that 20 minutes earlier, we'd probably be sitting here on the back of 3 points saying, job done. Wasn't the prettiest of last hours, but we've done it. You know, and in the situation we're in, with limited finances, limited squad numbers, but on the cusp of, and we're still on the cusp of Champions League football. Those 2 points that we could have eked out today would have been absolutely crucial, you know. And when we do get things right, when we do go for it and we attack with verve and we attack with intent, we're absolutely majestic. I mean, that for opening 30 minutes was a joy to behold.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if we're going to be critical of Moyes, let's be fair here. I mean, he sent out a side that was pretty well revved up for that particular game, and there we were 3-0 up after 30 minutes. So, you know, credit where it's due there.
Absolutely, but I think as Gnome pointed out, we seem to get in that mindset when we got a lead of some kind of substance, and against a team of, I mean, I'm not going to say they're a great team, Arsenal. Their attacking options are a joy to behold, but they're nowhere near the vintage Arsenal of the 90s, early 2000s, you know. They're a patch of their former selves. We seem to have this kind of Indian sign over us when we play teams of stature. I think that's the only way to describe it, because they're not great sides. But we seem to go into our shell. You know, we seem to think, as Gnome pointed out, job done, let's shore up shop and walk away with the 3 points. You can't do that. You have to maintain that kind of standards that you set out with. You have to keep asking the questions. You have to push in and probing. We're not doing that. We got this this kind of attitude about us that maybe we don't deserve to be here when the table doesn't lie. We do deserve to be here, you know? We do deserve to be picking away and winning games like this. And if we'd have taken the mentality that we had done for that opening 30 minutes against the bigger sides all season, we could be on the cusp of greatness. We could be, dare I say it, in the same realm with the boys of 86. No? It's all ifs and buts, but that's what football is, isn't it?
Very much so. Very much so. Thank you, gentlemen. I think Gnome is listening to Arteta. Would I be right, Gnome? Yeah. So we'll come back to you in just a minute. Okay.
I'm
Well,
watching with interest.
okay. Do you want to run through that quickly? What he's had to say?
Yeah, he's gone on about how the first half for them was unacceptable, and if you play like that, you're going to have to score 6 goals a game to just to get a win. Aubameyang, he hooked because he wasn't having any influence on play, and he changed what he had to change. So I'm just waiting for the interviewer to catch up on the subtitles. Apparently, Jamie was so Jamie Carragher described Chambers as Cafu-like. Well, that says everything you need to know about Jamie Carragher, I think.
Obviously, he's listening to me.
Yeah.
Was it not just 5 minutes ago I said that Chambers was look like Cafu?
Arteta didn't really have much to say there. Just so I just laughing. There was a comment in the Sunday Times today about sports commentators. Where do they go when the game isn't on? And he says, obviously, we know about some of them. We know that Jamie Carragher likes to go for a drive and spit at little girls, for example. That was quite good, wasn't it? But anyway.
Okay, well, we'll see if I would imagine Moyes will be out very soon. I'm sure that'll be the more interesting of the 2 managerial interviews post-match. But before we do get that from Moisey, let me just ask you, Pinky, 1 point versus Arsenal this season, 1 versus Manchester City, none versus Chelsea so far, none versus Manchester United. Is that why West Ham aren't going to qualify for the Champions League this season?
Well, that and the result against Newcastle on the opening day, yeah. The way to move up the league table is to beat the teams above you, and in particular if they're in close proximity. So yeah, those teams we should be trying to get something from. But if you take the season overall, look, if we finish 5th or 6th, that's a good season for West Ham United. So let's not say we've suddenly gone with a crisis or anything like that. We've seen us play today. We've scored 3 decent goals, could have had 4 or 5. But equally, we've conceded 3 soft goals, and it could have been 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's something not right somewhere, whether it's the balance of the squad, the manager's tactics, the on-field leadership in terms of this is how this is what we need to do, boys. Put another way, would the Arsenal invincible side at 3-0 up have dropped 2 points? No, they just wouldn't do it. Would the Liverpool team of last season have done it? No, they wouldn't. Could you see Man City doing it? No, you wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And for us to have done it today is hugely disappointing. Yep. But the teams you mentioned, they're all going to finish above us by and large because they've got bigger squads and more money. And whilst I've been very critical of David Moyes today in terms of what he could and in my opinion should have done today, to give it a bit of balance, I would say he's still in contention for manager of the season in the sense of we are punching miles above our weight. If you look at the season overall, we are probably a good half a dozen places further up the table than our squad probably merits. So there's a lot of positives for the season overall, but I can't accept this. We gave it a go, plucky lads, all the rest of it, cheeky chappies.
Yep.
I hate all that. We were 3-0 up today. Mm-hmm. Just win the game. How hard is that to do? Shore it up at the back, hang on to the ball, kill the game, stop Arsenal getting any momentum in the match, stop them getting a foothold.
Yep.
That's the job. That was the job for nearly an hour today, and we didn't do it. And frankly, I'm not really interested in the fact we hit the post and we could have done this, we could have done that. It's what we didn't do that troubles me. we didn't manage the game properly today. And as much as I'm critical of David Sullivan and the fact that he's given David Moyes a wafer-thin squad, it does come down to 11 against 11 at the end of the day. And our lads, when they're sitting there watching other teams playing in the Champions League next season, it's going to hurt. Or maybe they'll learn something. Maybe they'll learn not to ball watch. Maybe they can see that Aaron Cresswell is getting battered on his flank all afternoon and he needs some help. Maybe they'll just pay attention to that salient point and say, do you know what? You know, could I have done a bit more? Can Said Benrahma, when he's sitting there in his home tonight thinking, did I do absolutely everything I could have today? Because if he does ask himself that question, he knows the answer. And he didn't do enough. And when we as supporters are all slagging off the chairman when he's selling Declan Rice in due course, yeah, well, there you go. Declan could have been playing Champions League football, West Ham United next year. But he's not going to be now. That much I'm absolutely sure of.
Yeah, of course, West Ham have got some tricky games coming up, and we've had a very tricky little spell. Man City, Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham, 4 of our last 5 games, and then we go to Wolves in a couple of weeks' time. Then it's Leicester at home, Newcastle. You would hope that would be one we can take 3 points from. Then it's Chelsea again before we have, end the season with, a reasonable run of fixtures that you'd expect us to pick up points from. I think Gnome's just been listening to Jesse Lingard on the TV. Looked very disappointed from what I could see. Obviously, I've got the sound muted. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but Gnome, was that a pretty fair summary?
Because we've got David Moyes now.
We'll do. I'll tell you what we'll do. Well, while we're doing that, we'll dip into the forums and we'll take a look and see what the Hammers and Arsenal fans are saying. Before we do that, get yourselves prepared, Pinky and Rio. I'll just go through the match stats because we haven't done those yet. Possession, West Ham 37% to Arsenal's 63%. What a huge turnaround. Bearing in mind, West Ham had 74% after 10-11 minutes. Shots, West Ham 15, 5 on target. Arsenal 16, 7 on target. 3 corners for West Ham, 5 for Arsenal. The XG, expected goal stat for the game, West Ham 2.18, Arsenal 1.7. So, there's some match stats for you. We are going to begin by going to... where should we go first? Let's have a look at the KUMB.com forum first and see what the West Ham fans are saying in the wake of that rather disappointing second half. Rio, who's bearing the brunt of it at the moment?
Before I do, can I just point out that Manchester United have done a little bit of comedy defending, and Leicester lead 1-0 in the FA Cup quarter-final. It's one to behold. So everyone's set there recording the match of the day for tonight. Love a little bit of slapstick defending. It's quality. Yeah, going on to the forum. As you can imagine, there's not a lot of positivity in the air. There's not a lot of constructive debate at the moment, but I'm trying to pick out the more salient points that people have made in a positive and more forthright manner. Billy Bond's boots. Chambers had a 3-round rain down our left-hand side all game, and Cresswell was left with a 2-on-1 all the time. Benny is great coming forward, but doesn't track back. And we always seem to make the pitch bigger, allowing teams too much width. And when teams come at us, we back right off. We seem very tired around the 70-minute mark at every single opportunity. Yet Arsenal, who played Thursday, didn't. Why did the ref allow Lingard to play on when we had advantage? And how come we never won a game beyond me? Going to be hard to see where we go from here. Points are going to be at a premium, but this one feels like a loss. E17. Moyes and we remain brutally limited in terms of changes due to the owners and lack of players. Antonio's the only striker we have, and when Cresswell gets done down the left, he probably gets done. It's a repeat at the end of 2015 and 2016 season. Left back and centre forwards cost money, but we desperately need them. Wayne Spin. Noble came on because Lacazette was dropping off, and every time a centre back went with him, they put a ball into the hole for someone to run onto. We need Arthur Masuaku bad in the second half to try and stem the crosses coming from near fullback. I thought we'd bring Johnson on to help. Strange thing is, we never got that bit of luck against Arsenal. Today, 2 own goals, 50-50 calls not going for us. And to be fair, we normally lose games like this. So I'm looking at that as a positive. INZ79, Cresswell spent far too much time inside and forcing the players in front of him to take on defensive responsibility of the runners, which I can't necessarily agree with, but I think it's more of a team effort while I'm just singling out one player. Aberdeen, absolutely hammered. We miss 4-0 Zanocchi so much today. We miss their composure. Our squad depth is starting to show each week, methinks. A cracking season, but win that and Europe is realistic. I think that result today might have damaged us a lot more here. And that's something I was going to pick up on. Mentally, how does this squad bounce back after that? We was on the cusp of a cracking win against a team of calibre, and yet it's going to seem like a defeat. We've normally bounced back incredibly well when we've lost this season. This one, you just don't know, do you? The squad this part into European games, you're not going to see the likes of Declan Rice getting a bit of rest. You're not going to see Sufal and Souček get rest either, because all of them have got 3 games each for their country. You know, we need players to recharge their batteries, but because they're decent players and at the top of their game normally this season and representing their countries, we're going to suffer, I think. And a lack of depth in the squad is really going to hit hard. So there's something to really kind of keep an eye out as well. Just a couple more things from the forum. Diogenes has put, come on, guys and girls, let's keep things in perspective. It was a cracking game we deserved to win. We scored 5 goals and we hit the post. The referee erroneously called back play when we were 2-on-1. Then he gave us a free kick against Bowen that no one explained, from which they scored. Sure, we can pick holes here and there, but with a small squad and lack of quality in depth, I'm disappointed, but a million times much better than the last week. Yeah, so there's a lot of flack going around. Moyes is taking a lot of stick. Aaron Cresswell is taking a lot of stick. But a lot of players are, even Craig Dawson is as well at the moment, which is probably the first we've seen since he's joined us. A lot of fingers being pointed, but yeah, come on, let's look at the bigger picture. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't great, you know. But look at that first half hour. Look at what we can achieve. We just need a stronger mentality, and dare I say it, we need our manager to probably have a little bit of a break and all, and recharge his batteries and rethink what his approach to certain games, not just the squad itself.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess David Moyes has got a couple of weeks in which to do that, given that the international break is coming up. But it certainly looked like a lot of those West Ham players had, you know, it was a game too far for some of them in the second half. The likes of Declan Rice, who we saw the other day, is played more minutes than pretty much anyone else in the Premier League so far this season, if you take into account his England appearances. Souček, players like that, you know, not getting a rest. It's been tough. Antonio, of course, been suffering with injury problems. The only forward we've got left at the club. So yeah, you know, I guess it's difficult. It's tough, isn't it? You really, when you're 3-0 up, you should win a game. There's no question about it. But it's, you know, you've got to kind of temper that, I guess, with the fact that, as Pinky pointed out a few minutes ago, this is an excellent season West Ham are having, a really good season. And I guess it's a measure of just how good a season we're having that we're also disappointed at failing to beat Arsenal. You know, we did roar into a 3-goal lead. You're always going to be disappointed, as we said earlier. It doesn't happen that often, though. Incidentally, it's the 3rd time in the Premier League this season that someone has led 3-0 and failed to win. We, of course, remember one of them. We were the beneficiaries at Tottenham in October, I think it was. The other one being West Brom and Chelsea, finished 3-3 at the Hawthorns. But anyway, let's have a quick look at the Arsenal forum before we come back to Gnome to hear what Jesse Lingard had to say. Arsenal Mania is the forum we've been looking at. Pinky, I'm guessing they're, as in the words of Dubstar, not so manic now.
I think it's fair to say it's a thread of 2 halves on their website. interesting one here from a poster known as Arteta Out. And he's going, West Ham destroyed themselves right there, sitting back like wusses and inviting pressure. Bunch of disgraceful slackers. 2 own goals, WTF. I swear Arteta can win the lottery every time he tries. And I think it's fair to say that if I was Mr. Arteta, I would go and buy a couple of lottery tickets because Tuesday night's not far away. And who knows, he might need the money soon. Because there's an awful lot of Arsenal supporters on here saying, you know what, you know, his time is up. There's our season summed up in one match. You know, Odegaard is a very good player. The second half, he was all over West Ham. Partey was good picking up passing from deep. And, you know, Lacazette, man of the match, was this guy's, who was that? Yusuf Arsenal. You know, Aubameyang can clear off now. He's going to turn up with this sort of performance week in, week out. So he's getting a bit of a stick. Clearly they felt that Odegaard was their man of the match today, and Thomas Partey picking up probably the second spot. But here we go. Arteta messed up badly today, but the comeback was thrilling. We need this kind of intensity attacking more often. So that first half they were absolutely giving their team pelters, and you can understand that at 3-0 down. I think somewhere between the two forums you'll have a first half on KUMB that'll be "We are brilliant," and a second half I suspect we are not quite that brilliant, and it's the same on this one. It is they were poor in the first half and not quite as poor in the second half. And there's a little comment here from a guy called Rio. Need that West Ham fan TV meltdown as the mighty Arse come back from 3 down to end their own chance of getting Champions League. Yeah, nice try, but he ain't getting it.
Not happening, gentlemen. Not happening at all. Well, not on this channel anyway. Thank you, gentlemen. Pinky keeping an eye on Arsenal Mania for us this afternoon. Rio bringing us the thoughts of our fellow West Ham fans from the KUMB.com forum match thread in the general discussion forum. Pop on over there after the stream has ended, or even go and do it at the same time. And let us know your thoughts if you haven't already done so on the forum or even here on the live chat. Gnome has been waiting patiently and been listening to Jesse Lingard and David Moyes, I think, to hear what they've had. I know what's the verdict.
Yeah, so long ago I forgot what Lingard said. He was very disappointed. We dropped off a level, he said, but we still had chances and we don't convert the chances. But yeah, we're devastated that we've only come away with a point after that. Moyes, a little bit more interesting. Tough game, lots of goals. We played very well, especially in the first half an hour. But unfortunately, we gave away a goal before half time, which gave them the foot up. Now, I won't say exactly what he said just yet. I'll put it into context, because just out of context, it looks like he's whining, and he's not at this point. So he was asked, he was kind of, the interviewer was trying to goad him into complaining about the refereeing. So the quote, so just taken out of context, it just sounds like he's moaning, but it wasn't. But he said, asked about the refereeing, and he was asked about the specific incident where Bowen was fouled in the build-up to go, and then also the incident where Lingard was clear through. Yeah, and he said, well, he said, well, we had a lot of frustration throughout the game at decisions, that some of the decisions that were going, but that's the way football goes sometimes. So thought I'd put that in the context, because you just read out that comment, it looks like you're having a whinge, and he wasn't. We played very well for long periods, but they're in good form. And he said it's not a good result after going 3-0 up, but we showed we're up there competing with the best teams. It's been a long time since we actually finished above Arsenal, and we've done our best to make sure they can't catch us. Now we want more. I'm greedy, and they're devastated in the dressing room at not taking the 3 points. There you go.
Okay, well, I guess that's good to hear, isn't it? That so they're not sitting around moping that is the case. But we're gonna end this one fairly soon, this stream. So before we do that, one thing we haven't touched upon, gentlemen, is our Man of the Match awards for this afternoon. So, Gnome, I shall start with you. Who did... it's going to be difficult to think of someone who really played well over 90 minutes, isn't it? I think we might have to judge this on half-time alone.
I'm struggling. I mean, Lingard particularly was impressive first half. Second half, who'd you say? I'll go for Declan just for that run, but
yeah,
you know, we collectively turned off, and it's difficult. But I'll go for Declan because that run cheered me up a bit.
Okay, good stuff. One for Rice. Rio, how about you?
Can I not stick to my my full-time decision and nominate you three? Or is that cheating?
Sorry, what was that? I missed that.
Because can I not stick to my decision and nominate you three? Because
okay,
the way we've reacted to our actual capitulation today.
Okay,
sorry, if we're going to go for an actual player. No, for an actual player.
One for the kids there.
We're not exactly sport for choice, are we? I'd like to say Issa because he wasn't culpable for any of the goals, and that goal line clearance was quality. Everyone else was pretty shocking. Jesse had a great first half. You could also nominate Craig Dawson because his goal scoring form is just unreal. Isn't it? He's electric at the moment. But yeah, if we're going to actually nominate a player, we ain't going to be Declan because we're fed up with giving Declan, and he's back in the international shop window. Let's not bump him up. So it's a Diop for me.
I'm trying to think of the last time. Maybe it's never happened before where a player has scored 2 own goals in 2 consecutive matches. I'm sure it has before, but I can't remember a West Ham player doing that. If anyone does, then please, of course, let us know. Yeah,
I know Frank Sinclair did it with Chelsea quite a while ago because he scored a second one against us, didn't he? Or for us, sorry.
Yeah,
did he? I can't remember that.
Met an absolute standing ovation in the Bobby Moore ring because again he was on fire for that period of time, and everyone hates a Chelsea player.
Manchester United have equalised at Leicester, by the way, in the last FA Cup quarter-final. Binky, 1 for Declan, 1 for us 3. Who are you going for as your man in the match?
No, I'm not. No, sorry. No, none of them are getting it. I'm not going to full Tottenham support here, but I'm really disappointed today. Really disappointed. So no man of the match, and I'll never, ever, ever will I accept that conceding 3 goals when you're 3 up is acceptable. If there were 3 worldie goals, if they were 3 shots from 35 yards that no keeper in the world saving, if we'd been reduced to 9 men and they had the freedom of the park, those circumstances you can say conceding 3 goals. But I don't care how tired they are. I don't care how many games they've played. They didn't do enough today. And, for a number of those players, finishing 4th or even 5th will be as high up the league system as they will ever finish. And I'm not convinced collectively they wanted it enough today. So no man in the match for me. Not an acceptable performance. And, we could have scored 6. I don't care. We didn't. We conceded 3. There you go.
Okay. No man of the match from Pinky. Actually, it's not uncommon after the match for people not to nominate a winner, because I did put a message out about 20 minutes ago on the YouTube chat asking for people's nominations, and I think we've had 1, 2, 3 responses so far. Xander and Mark English going for Lingard, and Hobo going for Diop just for that clearance alone. So I'm struggling. I've got to admit, I'm struggling to think of one, but I'm going to give one. I'm not going to be that mean as Pinky and not give the accolade to someone, but God knows who I'm going to give it to.
Draw a name out of a hat.
I don't know. I really don't know. Thomas Souček. I'll give it to Thomas Souček because he scored a goal, and even though he scored an own goal, he was, he'd made that run back to jump, clutching at straws. See, really clutching at straws to think of someone. I think we thought he stood out really in the first half and was instrumental in getting us to a 3-0 advantage. And I don't think we can blame him for any of the 3 goals or his work rate. So I'm going to give it to Souček just because I had to give it to someone. So there you go. That's just about it for us on the stream this afternoon. We have a 2-week break now, an international break. Declan Rice, Jesse Lingard, 2 hammers in the England squad for the first time in a while. No Michail Antonio, though, because he hasn't been selected. Could have been 3. Southgate clearly still hasn't got the memo about needing 3 West Ham players in the squad to win anything. Although looking at the opposition England are going to be facing in the next couple of weeks, I reckon 3 out of the 4 of us could probably get a call up to the England squad and, we'd still take maximum points. Anyway, that's all to come soon. For West Ham, our next game is 2 weeks from now. Is it 2 weeks today?
2 weeks tomorrow. Wolves.
Monday. It's a Monday night fixture. Of course, we go to Molineux, the scene of the pie flinging incident a few years ago where a Wolves fan was banned for 3 years from Molineux, taken to court after throwing a steaming hot pie at a West Ham supporter. Turns out it was a female supporter as well who threw the pie. Claimed she dropped it. No, they didn't believe her
Some
either.
form of food critic, yeah.
But anyway, it's
I was down on the
pies at football grounds tend to be only consumed when you need to soak up some alcohol. So,
So sorry, Pinky, what was that? You
As I say, I mean, talk about how's your luck. Someone chucks a pie at me at a game of football, I normally catch it. I mean,
without using your hands.
Steady.
the radar goes. The radar goes. Yes, can't beat a good pie at football. And that guy certainly couldn't have beat it that day. Wolves, no. West Ham v Wolves, we smashed them off the park when we played them in Stratford earlier this year. I've got a feeling it's not going to be quite as easy as that, but we're sort of having the kind of season they had last year, aren't we, in a way? So what do you make of this fixture?
I'll take a guarded, optimistic view at the moment. I just want to make sure everybody's back from the international break fit and well. Quite apart from Lingard and Rice, we have the 2 Czech lads will be away, won't they? And which is so that's 4 key players we've got with what 2 is it 3 internationals we've got coming up.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
Fabianski as well, although he's likely to be on the bench, of course.
Yeah, with opportunities. Though with 3 internationals, you might, there may be a bit of rotation with Fabianski, but so that's 3 opportunities for nasty, niggly injuries to be picked up. Wolves have kind of, having had the season they had last year, they've kind of gone off the boil a little bit. And I haven't researched how they've been lately because I've got 2 weeks to do that in. But I'd be cautiously optimistic about going up there and getting something. On the goal scoring front, they've lacked a bit since what's the lad's name? Is it Jimenez who broke his skull? Help me out here, lads. The guy broke his skull.
I couldn't tell
Patricio.
you.
Huh? Sorry, where?
Patricio, the keeper, wasn't it?
No.
Patricio?
He got injured in midweek.
Oh,
striker.
Yeah, Jimenez. Yeah, Raul Jimenez.
Yeah. That seemed to. I mean, they weren't having the greatest seasons. I mean, they're well out of danger, but not threatening much else, sort of thing. But that seemed to knock a lot of the stuffing out of them from an attacking point of view. So I'd be hopeful we can go up there and get 3, but let's see what we've got available to us after the break. We've got the potential for a bit more depth to be in the squad after the break. As you said, Yarmolenko and Masuaku both played for the development squad, or whatever they're called, the under-23s, and so they look as if they might be sort of getting there with a view to being at least on the bench. So Masuaku would be particularly a welcome return, given how well both we and him were playing before he got his injury. You know, the fact that we've managed to carry on the form without him is ignoring games, in particular games, but the fact that we're still up in sort of 5th place, having missed so much of the season, when he was instrumental in getting our season kick-started in that position, is quite a testament to the overall season that we've had, notwithstanding today.
Yeah.
So everybody fit, players coming back. I'd be optimistic for that.
Okay, good stuff. Pinky, Wolves 7th in the Premier League last season, finished level on points with Spurs, 6th place. Had a really, really good season. Totally gone off the ball this year. 13th, still haven't hit the 40-point mark. If we have serious European aspirations, let's drop the Champions League for a moment. This is a game you expect West Ham will have to go and win. Do you see that happening?
Yes and yes. I'll park with disappointment today and focus on the positive and say we had enough firepower to get 3 goals. You could see the threat Souček was in the opening 20 minutes today against Arsenal, and he could be just as effective against Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, but there's a sting in the tail, and the sting being the reason why Wolves are having such a shocking season. Our players are tired. Well, have a look at the workload of Wolves players for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That I would imagine have played more games than almost any other group of players, because they went through a torturous sort of qualification process for a season of European football. They've been at it, non-stop, pretty much, and they've just run out of puff. They've run out of puff. I think their managers probably run out of a few ideas. They all need this season to end so they can recharge their batteries. So as long as our manager can get the message across to our players, right, the international break, treat it as a 2 weeks holiday, basically. Come back fully recharged and we go again, then I think we've still got a chance of finishing 5th or 6th this season. And to do that, we've got to beat Wolves. I think we will. And I'm a bit disappointed because I'm assuming it's an evening kickoff away at Molineux.
Monday night, yeah.
Yeah,
Monday night, 8:15.
Yeah, but a decent ground, proper football club, and a cracking little chip shop just 100 yards away from Molineux that we tend to call in at. And disappointed not to be there on the night, but I think we'll have enough to see off Wolves. They really have run out of legs, and all the time we're feeling sorry for ourselves with a wafer-thin squad and all the rest of it. Try doing it when you've been playing non-stop for 2 full years, and that's what Wolves have been doing.
Pinky, am I right in saying, you might have done more research than me on this, but they've used maybe not up to this season, but until recently they'd used fewer players than anybody else. I think last season they had a very sort of tight squad, didn't they?
Yeah, and what you tend to find with teams that do quite well are the teams that have the fewest injuries and use the fewest players, right up to the point when they start picking up the injuries. That's when clubs tend to fall apart. So, they're almost like ourselves, having a decent first 11, but then not much else. Yeah. And I think the success of Wolves in the last couple of years has been They've had a very good first 11. The problem is not much else, and the players are just running to the ground. And I think the sting for us, we go to the Europa League. Can you imagine us automatic qualification for straight into the full Europa League with what? How many games more each season does that potentially bring? A dozen, 15, something like that?
I think it was in excess of 20, wasn't it, when Fulham got to the final? Didn't they play something like 28 games or something crazy like that?
So,
Did they come right through from the sort of summer qualification, though?
Yeah, I think they did. But it was almost like another season. It was immense.
Yeah. I mean,
potentially 20 odd. Realistically, 2, because we always get knocked out.
Well, that's true.
I'd love the opportunity to go back to the National Stadium in Malta. I had a whale of a time when I was out there last time. So
but we supporters, no, we would. Can you imagine David Moyes turning up and ringing the doorbell at Sully's Empire? And he's shown into the waiting room or whatever it is. He goes in to see the chairman, and it's here's my list of 15 players we're going to need to sign to compete in that league.
I can imagine us signing a load of players on loan just to get us through the qualification. Do you remember, was it the Intertoto when Tottenham entered it one season when it was July and they signed Alan Pardew on loan? They were signing players from Crystal Palace just to get them through, just to get themselves knocked out of it because they didn't want to go any further.
Yeah. So, but this is it, and that's why today's, I almost said defeat, today's drop points is so damaging.
Yeah.
Because the money you get in the Champions League, even if you don't get through the first qualifying round, it's enormous money compared to what you get for the Europa League. Yeah, and that's a really expensive third goal we conceded today. Could be. I mean, we probably weren't going to catch Chelsea anyway. Tuchel's got them firing on all cylinders and they don't concede goals. But it would have nice to have been pushing them maybe till 3-4 games from the end of the season. I think now they'll look at it and say, no, we're gone. Europa at best for us. And I fear for us next season in the Premier League, because I want to be clear, I want to be in Europe. I'm not sure the chairman does. And you can just imagine it, traipsing around every relegated club for every player that's been released and just going, well, here's a fullback. David, what's wrong with him? I mean, Fulham, they only had a goal difference of minus 30. What about this lad from Sheffield United? And all the rest of it. Baldock, we had his brother here for a while. What's wrong with him? Yeah, you can just imagine the conversation, can't you?
You can.
I'm just thinking, if he was complaining about the cost of being drawn away at Everton, including travel, what's he going to think about getting drawn away to, I don't know, Spartak, Kazakhstan or something?
Or even, Paris. Doesn't he know how much hotels in Paris cost? We'd be the only team that would stay out at the Euro Disney. Yeah, stay in one of the hotels out there. And all.
What it'll be doing is it'll be saying, "Can we play you in Budapest?" And they'll say, "What, COVID?" And I said, "No, it's just a lot closer."
Yeah,
we can get a Ryanair to there.
Well, let's hope it comes to fruition anyway, because there's still, of course, a long way to go. There's still another 8 or 9 games to go. 8 games, isn't it? Now we've got left 9 games, 8 games, 9 games still to go in the season. So lots of points still up for grabs. We're going to finish tonight with Rio, Wolverhampton Wanderers, gold shirts, Andy Gray, that bloody tunnel, the car park on the hill, that hill they used to have behind the goal, the grassy knoll behind the goal. 3 points for West Ham, you reckon?
Let's be honest, right? Youthful exuberance and blinded optimism didn't do me much good today, did it? Right? It almost worked. Then West Ham remembered that there was West Ham, a whole one division thing kicked in, and they remembered to revert the type and cave in. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 defeat, purely because I've not got a personally great record of Wolves. I know I'm not going there this season again, but my first ever trip, my mate parked on the wrong side of the South Bank, that horrible grassy, enormous mountain they had. So we lost 1-0. Steve Ball scored, and we had a very uncomfortable walk around the ground to get back to the car. Even at one of my most memorable visits, when in the FA Cup game we won 3-1.
Yeah,
brilliant performance. Tarnished by the fact that I got stopped and searched twice in the same day, because obviously being 5'4" and built like, you know, well, whatever you want to call me. I've been called a few names in the past. I'm not the prime candidate for being a thug. So the Wolverhampton, the West Midlands Police, God bless them, because we all know they're the pride of the police force in Great Britain.
lovely bunch.
Saw fit to search me rigorously as I went into the ground. I had 3 people surround me and question me. On the way out of the ground, back to the car, I had 4 coppers come around and surround me and search me. So even my finest moment at Molineux, he had a little bit of a tarnished reputation. So that place is just full of bad memories for me, really. So, yeah, we're going to lose, aren't we? We're going to lose.
Well, on that rather optimistic note, we'll call it a day, I think. But it's been a bit like that today, isn't it? West Ham against Arsenal. West Ham scored 5 goals. Arsenal only scored 1. Unfortunately, 2 of ours were in the wrong net, and it finished 3. Oh, West Ham throwing away 2 points. Oh, we did it to Spurs, and now the bloody Arsenal have done it to us. Can only think how poor Romford's feeling right now. But anyway, it's a 2-week break for us. We shall be back in a couple of weeks' time on Monday night, 2 weeks hence, for that trip to Molineux, Wolverhampton Wanderers versus West Ham United. And hope that the Hammers can get back to winning ways once again then and recharge our bid for Europe next season. That is it from us tonight. My thanks to the team, to the Pink Palermo, to Rio, and to Gnome. I'm off for a roast dinner. Something good's come out of this at last. Pinky looks like he's off to kick the cat down the street. And that's about it. So until next time, come on, you irons. No more? No more come on, you irons tonight?
I'm bereft of anything. I'm done.
I always say good night.
Cat is in hiding. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night, folks.
And,
See you
and
soon.
the chicken wire was over the TV.
Good night, John Boy.
Come on, you rip-rolling goal-scoring amateurs.
Ah, you irons!